Hi everyone, welcome back to the video. This is part 2 of the settings attribute video. I had to split it into two parts because the last one was almost 15 minutes long. So, in this video, we're going to get into some hands-on work. Let's dive into it. Alright, so here's what we need to do. We have a web page with multiple H4 elements. Those are the titles, by the way. We're going to select all those H4 elements into a single variable, and then we'll apply some styles to them, like setting the font size to 30 pixels, changing the color to blue, and making the text bold, and giving them some padding and zero margin. Alright, so here's the web page that we'll be working with. Now let's dive into the HTML of this to see some of the backend. In this HTML, we have a main container with a site section, which includes 3 div elements, each containing an H4. Okay, so I could think of 3 different ways of doing this. And the first way that I'm going to discuss is quite simple. And the first 2 ways are kind of similar, and then the last way is going to be for more complex structures using scope. So, first what we're going to do is create a variable and call it titles. And this will hold all the title elements. And this is we're going to use document.querySelector all. And we're going to simply just target all the H4 elements inside of the document, inside of the HTML. And so if we console log this, because our HTML here has 1, 2, 3 different H4s, when we log it, we should see an object that holds. Oh, right, there's a 4th HTML as well, which I added. It just says hello world at the bottom over here, and it's like a sidebar. Okay, so because our HTML has 4 H4s, we'll see this is the object that holds all of the H4s. Okay, now we can make changes to these by simply iterating through it by using a titles.forEach, which will take one parameter, which is a title, right? So it's pretty much saying titles for each title inside of titles, because we know titles holds 4 of them. So each title, for each title, go in and set attribute, right? We want the style, and we want color to be blue. And let's just make sure it's working. It is not, because and it's not working because we added a semicolon over here. Like styles, which we don't need. And now it's working. As you can see, the site is blue. Next, we talked about the font size, which we want font. So talking and coding at the same time. So font size, we want it to be 30 pixels. Here you can see that it has increased in size. I'm going to have it side by side here. So having it side by side, you can see the changes as we make them. Next, we're going to do the font weight, which we will set to bold. Next, we're going to set the padding left to be, I believe it was 10 pixels. So lastly, we set the margin to 0. And here we go. All the H4s inside of the HTML is now has the styling and the positioning that we want, which is cool. And this is the first way of doing it. Now I'm going to show you the second way of doing this. The second way is very similar. We do the exact same step in the beginning, which is create a variable called titles, and which holds all the H4s inside of the HTML document. And now what we're going to do is just create a for loop, and we're going to make I equal to 0 because we want to start at the 0th index. And if I is less than the titles dot length, so the length of the object, the title object, then we want to iterate by doing I plus plus. All right. Now inside of this, we're simply going to call the titles object, and we're going to have the index I, and we're going to do dot set attribute. And now this will contain the exact same attributes as now it's just the same as before. So I'm going to save you guys the just sitting here and watching, save you some time here, and just setting it to how it's, here we go, just by copying and pasting it. I'm going to save you guys some time. Let's add our semicolons. And now you can see that on the side here, the site has actually updated very similar ways, two very similar ways, and they both work exactly the same. Okay. This was using the forEach, and this is using the for loop. This last method is a little bit different and a little bit more technical. And now we're going to use scopes. Okay. Scopes are great for more complex structures. For example, if you want to apply styles to only the titles that are inside of the sites class, so then you'd use this here. And so what we're going to do is first comment out this titles document .query selector, selecting all the H4s. And what we're going to do instead is create a const and call it the site container. It's going to equal document.query selector. And we're going to, and now we're going to reference the sites class, and by console logging, we can see that here we are. We have the sites, and all three of the sites are inside of this container. Cool. Now using another const, I'm going to create a variable called titles, and we're going to use the sites container this time. Dot query selector all. And now we're going to use the scopes. The syntax for this is going to be colon scope. So it's going to be scope. Then we're going to use the less than or greater than sign to go into the div. So here we have the main sites. We're going to go into the first div because each of these sites has a div. Right, so we're going to go to the first div, and then we're going to go into the H4. And then we're going to go into the H4. Okay. And this, if we now log the titles variable, it should contain all the H4s, 3 H4s. Right? Excluding the fourth one, which we know is outside of this sites container. And now, it's simply the same as before. I like using the forEach method, which I will just copy, or yeah, I'll just copy and paste here. And there we go. As you can see, all of these have the attributes that we'd like, the styling that we'd like. Right? So it's got the font size, it's got the padding on the left, and no margins. Okay. And this now excludes the title that is not inside of the sites container. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been the practical part of setting attributes. Oh, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.